offering my clients.
I'll just record this so I can track. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, great stuff. So it would be it'll give me a better idea of what we'd be doing for my clients, and yeah, so I think that'd be a good starting point. So, well, what are your thoughts then? Or
yeah, it's endemic in the industry that people start. It's like builders. People start off with wanting one thing and they add on, and you've got to watch, and you've got to watch this as well. Is the pricing of it, right? So I'm going to show you what we do, and we're constantly evolving. All right. So I've been using QuickBooks for 20 plus years, and it's moved from desktop. It was always really good, never was not. But 2 years ago, I don't know if I mentioned that, me and a few other people who I knew were using it a long time got phone calls from Australia to say the QuickBooks people were coming to Ireland and they just wanted to have a Q&A. So I met one of them in Galway there, and a programmer. So a guy, Victor Johnson, and a girl, Mary Yamani or something. And they would ask the questions and you just give them the answers, and they got the consistently same answer throughout the country. And which was, we need something that's more focused on Ireland, because we were twisting around the English version into the Irish version, and I'm still on the UK version myself because I'm on it so long. But anyway, this was a very productive meeting. They went away, and 6 months later they came back, which was about this time last year, and said, we're launching an Irish version. We'll do a lot of things, and then we're going to keep adding on from there. Okay. Cool. Yeah. And they've delivered on that all the time. And they hired me actually to do a webinar for the new people. And now they paid me $2,000 for it, and it was an hour long, but I must have done it 40 times wrong before I got it right. Jesus. So I earned my $2,000 anyway. Yeah. But the girl kept me very focused on just go with if no one has any knowledge of it, right? So that's up on their website at the moment. I'm watching it there. It's got a few thousand views of that. And so that's people in Ireland looking at it, right? Now, the big thing now, let's jump to the next crowd then, which are accountants. Accountants are lazy. Now, I'll give you my perception of vets, right? I used to play midfield with our Gaelic team. My friend there is a vet, okay? And his brother's a vet and all that. They're really smart. And that's one thing about the vet profession. Like any vet I know, an old vet is retiring, a client of mine here. And they're all real bright guys, okay? Now, that's the perception we would have of vets. The perception I would have of accountants is also going to be correct now. They're lazy. And they just want to do what they're used to, and they don't like to learn. Now, I am a little bit different. Like all my friends would be similar to me. Like they're constantly keeping up and watching stuff and moving on. But the general profession age group is a good 10 years on from me. Yeah. And that's what I battle, and you will find yourself battling, all right? It's no problem with the customer, the vet, in your case, the vets. And I had to lecture, and I use that word carefully, a guy, recently an accountant in the Midlands. He was on about, he wanted to move to it, but it didn't do something for him, which was a real accountancy rubbish thing, a nominal ledger update. It doesn't need to be done anyway, okay? And I had to say to him, Bill, it's not about you, all right? It's about people trying to make money, understand their business, know where it's coming and going from, collecting on their sales. And that's what it's about. It's not about suiting you, all right? So you need to change your mindset there. And instead of being a cost, be an asset to whoever your clients are. So I think he took that on board. But a lot of accountants now, there's tons of them coming up now. Like a guy in Donegal, like these are openers for you as well. So the more the accountants accept it, the more you'll get your product over the line, you'll find. Because the one person who will block it will be the accountant. Oh, that won't work. That won't integrate my software. That'll put my cost up. I'll have to learn that. I've loads of guys who hire, loads of business owners who hire me just to be there on the background and fix it up to fix, like, I'm not, even though behind my head here, right? I say, once I get in there, I'll take them as a full client eventually, right? I say that in my head, but it's a slow burn. People have to learn things. And but there's quite a number that, the owners are remote, like could be in America or something like that, where we just make sure it's right for their accountant, and that's fine. So that's part of the support we do. And that's a new thing we brought in lately, that if their accountant needs to learn about the product, we'll show them, right? So let me just show you a couple of things here, James.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I like your product. It'd be great. Like, it's becoming the big leader now at the moment. I hear Xero. I saw on your website you'd Xero mentioned, and obviously I'm familiar with it. But I'm hearing a bit of comment lately. It's got expensive. I'm not sure who said that to me. Now, not many people with Xero come to me because they don't see me as that. But this is what happens this is the stage, it's what we find goes on all the time. Like we move people online in a week, and you might find some of the people are like yourself are already online, okay?
Mhm.
And so they're somewhere along here, but when we come on, we literally just have a question and answer about what they do, how many work for them, what their sales are, how often they're open, what time do they open, what does their existing sales invoice look like, who are their suppliers, do they import from, sorry, do they buy within Ireland, or is there a bit of import going on from within or without the EU? These are all relevant to the setup, okay?
Mhm.
Then we price it. It's a go proposal. I'll give you a glimpse of that in a second. Then we set up QuickBooks. We set up Receipt Bank. There's an extra ingredient missing here, which is going to come on lately, called migration, where we migrate them from whatever they're on into QuickBooks as well. And if they're already a client here, it's no cost. We just do it. If they're not a client, if there's someone new like yourself, it's 100 quid. And there's an Indian guy who works at QuickBooks who kind of do that and liaise with us, and we check the starting figures, the ending figures. So 17
So sorry,
of
just to
those.
clarify there, Kevin. So that's if they're on a different accountancy package, that's not QuickBooks. You're bringing them into QuickBooks. Is that it?
Yeah, it's also if they're on the UK version of QuickBooks or the desktop version of QuickBooks. Okay, so we want to move them onto the Irish version, which is where they need to be. And what you typically do is you would look. They'll only move we only bring say this year and last year's stuff in.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason we do that is QuickBooks don't charge me anything for that. Okay. And we charge 100 quid for checking the opening balances, checking the closing, checking the suppliers and customers in the right place. The customer services will find the VAT is set up, detach Dext, reattach Dext, reprogram the suppliers indexed if we have to. And I have a couple of remote students. I just put that in front of them and they do that for me. And they work for me, like, you know. And Dext used to be called Receipt Bank. So, and anywhere you see RB here, I must update it. It's changed. So then we set up Receipt Bank. Okay, so this is bang, bang, bang. There's a little intro video shows them how to use it. They get that. We do 90 minutes online training with the setup or fix up, we call it. That's recorded, 30 days unlimited support, connect the bank. At this stage, we know what they need to know about because stuff has started to go into it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so some people might want to know their sales at the end of the week, they have a break even target and they want to know that they're over it, or they want to know how many hours they're billed on the timesheets, or whatever they want to know. They want to know what's in their bank. You know, some of them just get the P&L. They just want to see the bottom line, you know. And so we set up the auto reporting. That's generally set up early, and then we kind of modify it as people kind of say, you know, that's too much for me, or whatever.
Yeah.
This fetch thing in your Dext, we can set that up because bills have gone in, and we're beginning to see who might be, you know, where the money is going out of the bank, and there isn't a bill there to meet it because we've got to download it. So I kind of showed you that the last day. And then we check in with them, you know, once a quarter minimum. But when the Dext is going in, we can message them if something is wrong. Okay, so that's like I've a company, a sole trader converting into a company, and they're going fully on this next Wednesday, July 1st. They're all set up, the training is done. We're just waiting for July 1st now. So we're doing that, you know, all the time. And with your guys, they may be somewhere in this process already. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the setup and the fix up is the same thing, really. So often we're more often fixing up people, even if they say, well, you know, what's the cost to this and that, they go off and they try it themselves, they download a free version, they end up paying for it. They like it, but it's just too much for them, you know. That's typically where 50% of our customers come in as then, you know. And that's it. It's not too mind-blowing. And then,
so just to clarify, sorry, Kevin, if you go back to that slide for me there again, please. So when we were chatting prices originally, and you know, I think you get the price of around 600 quid plus the VAT for setup. That's this, is it?
That would be this. That would be. It would be to be this, yeah.
Cool. So you're kind of working with the client for what period of time here? A month?
1 week.
Oh, a week. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
week. So like the first few bits there. Now the Go proposal, we'd probably have, you would have that done for us. We'll have worked out something with you, you know, or you'll have come back to us. We'll talk about what works, how our money thing works, and see how that might fit in with what you have in mind, and maybe we'll have to change a bit, you know. And but essentially, let me see, one, and actually down here, I can email this to you. We have all the steps that are taking place as well.
Yeah.
No,
So I suppose if we'd have, I suppose we'd have the background details kind of gotten, so that would help with your proposal. We'd have QuickBooks. So say, for example, I'm just trying to think of streamlining this for everybody involved. If this was a runner, we'll say. So background details, proposal, and like if we go through a few of these and you say to us, okay, guys, the way you're setting up QuickBooks is great, but set it up this way slightly differently. I suppose, then you will know that all of your clients, you know, when you get to step 8 there, the fix up or the startup is what you call it. At least you know that they're all they're always at the same point when you take over from them then. Receipt bank, I'm happy enough to let you guys, like you're the experts on that. So I suppose what I'd be hoping to do to make it easy for you, Kevin, would be that we would get the client to a certain point for you consistently, just to make it easier for yourselves. Like that, would that help your side?
Yeah, I'm say a handy thing for you to think of now is when you're getting the background details. If they're all, what's your experience? Are they already on QuickBooks, a lot of these lads and girls, or are they not?
No. There's very few on QuickBooks, and we're setting up on a new QuickBooks.
Okay, we're setting up a new one. Okay, so really, once we have their name, their mobile number, and their email address,
bank details.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're kind of okay to do the setup. I mean, we generally give them the first month free, you know. It kind of depends where they come in. But once if they're not on QuickBooks, we would set them up very quick. They'll be downloading apps. They'll be onto the inbox, setting up their passwords. Probably within 24 hours of your notification to us. Okay, and they can log in and start seeing things happen. And once we get to this, send them an intro video. Did I send you that yet? No.
I think it's on your website anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of very quick video, shows how to download it, and then we get to the training and talking them through it. Then really they're belting away, you know.
Yeah.
And we just check in with them all the time. Then after that, you know, so it's
yeah, excellent. No, it's like it sounds perfect. It sounds perfect. It's tying the. It's making sure the QuickBooks is, see, the problem we're finding at the moment, Kevin, I mentioned before, is that we set up the QuickBooks for them, but because their accountants and bookkeepers aren't familiar with it, and they're coming back to us with questions on, is this going in the right place? Is this going in the right place? And we don't have the answers for that. So that's where you're the experts. And like, if you set it up day one, well, then we know everything's going in the right place. Yeah. So that's the critical part that I've no interest in trying to learn all that, because, you know, that's your area of expertise.
Yeah, we're about on Monday now. We just because of a run-in we had with a reseller, we're setting up a little shop, a little questionnaire. A Cork guy actually, Dennis Finnegan, has set that up for me. I'll just see. I'm going to actually show it to you because now it's still, but it could be handy, you know, if you're kind of working out prices. Like, I don't want you to find yourself in a place whereby you give a price for your, I mean, they're really buying your software is what's got them there, okay? And we're kind of in there as well. But if you give them a number and it turns out to be a different number, you know, it could be, we don't want to make life awkward for you. But what you'll have to communicate at the earliest point, depending on how busy they are and how many transactions are going on, will dictate, okay, what's going on there. And when I'm going to show you two things very fast. One is our pricing tool, which is called Go Proposal. Okay, I'll just right here somewhere. Yeah. So let's move that there. So when we kind of start up, I'll just create proposal here. What happens here straight away there's different types of businesses. We'll say that from scratch, new clients, sole trader. Like, I would rocket through this. I'll talk about you for a minute, right? Your turnover is between 500 and $1 million. I did kind of a guess there at it.
Yeah.
It's a case of what you want. So if we're setting up the QuickBooks, now we tend to sell, like, if they hate your program or hate me, okay, we can just turn over but they're still on the program, and they can just pay their own subscription. Okay, so
QuickBooks.
Yeah, QuickBooks. So it's just a new thing we've
Okay.
set up lately, because some people just want to buy the program and they just want to go at it themselves. I know
Okay.
they'll end up back at me again, but
Yeah.
they, you know, but we weren't catering for that person at all. And there's a guy in Nace or somewhere, and that's what he does. And just a new client that came on, he was fierce awkward with them. Jesus. And completely bluffing. And I had to call the head of QuickBooks in Ireland about him. And I said, there's a guy, and he's a real salesman. He said, what's important here is the client. And I said, I know, but this bucko is trying to screw them money-wise. And it was frustrating me and sorting something out for them. But anyway, there was a serious call between me and him. There was a serious call between the client and him, and he capitulated the following morning. You know, he said to me on the phone call, he said, so what do you want to offer, Kevin, to me, right? And I said, listen, Mike, months. I'll get that client to pay it for 3 months, but you've got to switch over the ownership of it to them. And he said, not a hope, we're a year up front and that's it. You know? So, but the next day he capitulated, offered 1 month, just pay me a month, like, you know, so he turned on 3 months and he got a month, but he wanted like 12 months and had them over a barrel. Well, geez, I went mad. And he told more fibs. So I said, anyway, I just said I'd turn my guns on him. So we're going to start competing with him now, because he was just chatting, and he was way out of date. Jesus, website was way out of date. There's two big resellers in Ireland. There's him, he's called accountancysoftware.ie. And he said to me, had I not heard of him? I said, you know, I have heard of you, but I just didn't believe it until now, you know, and I had, but I thought they were trainers. I didn't realize they sold this stuff. Pure chances. Then there's another guy in Dublin, Axonware. He's much more ethical. Not a hard sell guy. And I've been dealing with him for years, but I hadn't heard of the second crowd. You know? So here now, so someone
these
says,
these guys are selling on QuickBooks similar to their competitors of yours, kind of.
well, they aren't accountants. They do a small bit of training.
Oh, I get you. Yes. Yep.
They sell on the program, but they retain certain visibility rights that stop people moving it to another accountant and looking behind the scenes of it. It's kind of a GDPR now. It's not allowed, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a real frustration with this client, this Irish building company, and they're real upwardly will all go, you know. Geez, they were, but they were infuriated because the man, anything this other crowd did was a complete disaster, and like they had foreign buyers coming in and trying to buy them out, and they couldn't fix their accounts. Anyway, they paid me well to fix it all up, but and I kind of kept out of it, but I had to step in the end. So I said, no, there's obviously a demand for just buying the program, so we have that. So if they just want the subscription, okay. So this is, you know, this is how we get billed for it, depending on how busy it is, you know.
Yeah.
So you now would be, say, between 51 and 100. Okay, I did just quick look before we came on. There's 3 levels of QuickBooks. This is an interesting one. If they're a real small little vet for you, you know, we can modify the price down. It's only $6.50 a month plus VAT that we would charge them for the program, which is below what even QuickBooks would charge them, you know. So you can knock off €1 here, €1 there. And so
what's the price of the most expensive package there?
€14 plus VAT. You know, they're not, and that's the one I would on, and that's the one I tend to favor. But I tend to inherit the odd person who's on the lower ones, you know, and we like to move them up on that. So but anyway, we'll go with the main one there.
Yeah, go with the main.
So that'll be you, but you have these subscriptions already now, so we wouldn't be charging you, okay? And this is the new area we're kind of coming into, is the support. I'll just tick one. So we'll say within 3 days is the most popular level of support. Okay, and I'll show you what that means. And if they want set up, fix up with a 6-month support. Now, just set up a 30-day support goes really well. Okay, by the time we've it fixed up and we do our training and that with them, they know a fierce amount. Okay, but if they want us in the background or as a remote owner or something, we kind of tie it in. But we've just kind of brought this on lately, and I haven't kind of pushed it yet. I'm just waiting for this online shop. So so set up a 30-day support queries are done within 3 days. And if they want, now you wouldn't need Dext with us, okay, because you have it. I might be able to move it onto our thing, but I'm not sure yet. What is not included? I'll just click that the crap. So here now, so that would be the monthly stuff, okay. So the support level will be $79 a month if they want within 3 days. Then we would generally answer within 24 hours. But it covers me. If it's within a day, it's 99, or if it's within 5 days, it's 49. Okay, but we're generally back very prompt, you know. So today, like, no one would be left, you know, unless we miss it or something, which happened once or twice, but that's all, you know. And the subscription for the Dext for you now, 29 a month. How much are you paying for Dext? Don't mind me asking.
That's a great question. I don't actually know. I don't honestly know. I'd be able to look it up for you.
You aren't using it that powerfully, right? But how it works is the more you put through it, okay, they average it out. The more you put through it, the more they charge.
Yeah.
And then what they do is they charge you the average of the previous 3 months. Okay. And but we do the programming and support and all the integration, all that. We stay with that the whole time.
Okay.
Like we never leave the room on it. And so that would be there. And down here then, yeah, the online setup is a once-off, like, you know. And
yeah.
so when I there's a bit more info in it. It's a very quick read. Now we'd have name, addresses and all that, but just I'll just go down here. I'll come back.
Cool app function, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. There's an English guy who set this up. He's a fantastic guy. He's all in he'd be the equivalent of you with accountants, yeah, you know. He's all into helping them. So
okay, very good.
So,
this is brilliant.
So the support, this is what comes with the support. We have a 1-800 number here. We'll give them a dedicated support email, which we monitor. I have 3 more full-timers here with me and 2 part-timers. We record all fixes and email you the recording on a confidential YouTube link. That will go on, or Zoom link sometimes. That will go on all the time. We monitor the Dext uploads all the time and perform ongoing supply programming. I'll show you what we do in a second. We connect to your bank and set up the bank rules to reduce your accountancy concerns. The thing with the bank is it detaches itself every 90 days and you got to reconnect. That's a one. And number 2, they might disconnect themselves or something goes wrong with an update, or we should disconnect, reconnect. It's an ongoing thing, the bank, you know. Now we always have to touch base with the customer slightly to get an approval or a one-time code or something. But it's, you know, we can do that nighttime, weekends, you know, or we'll show them how to do it and let them off, you know. I'll send them a video on how to do it. We'll check in with their accountant, send them the info they need. Their accountant might want something, or the bank. So if we can, you know, if something is really serious that they're not putting into it, they just, like I have one guy there, he's an engineer, he's paying me and all that stuff, but he's not putting anything into the bloody program. And I don't know what his plan is. And so it'll come to a point where there'll be some kind of a rush job, you know. So, but we'll deal with their accountants if need be, you know. So, and we all continuously set up and modify. What we don't do, unless contracted though, is finalize their accounts, the bank rec, tax filings, negotiate with customers or suppliers, or share their info. Okay, so I think that's an important one, that we're not ringing their customers too much.
Give me 2 seconds here, Kevin. I'll try and mute this background noise. Give me 2 seconds here.
It's not bothering me at all. Might be. Held it there when you were minded that. How many kids are you there anyway, James? I've been to ask you.
2 boys, twins. They're 4 years old, so double trouble.
Double trouble. You'll have to go again though.
Yeah, well, we've another baby due in the 31st of December, so at the very end of the year. So
oh wow,
I'll have a busy Christmas.
Jesus Christ, you will. So the bank rec anyway.
Sorry, just a proposal there. Sorry, I actually never wrote down what I came up with. Sorry. So yeah, the 600. What was the monthly fee that it came up with?
Let me just see what that one was. Now, if it's you, you're paying.
No, pretend it's not me for a second.
Say it's not you. Oh yeah, okay.
And actually, sorry. So just I'm trying to think here now. So at the moment, we're creating the QuickBooks account because how this is explained to me by the programmers was, and we're the admin user because we have our own separate login no matter, because the guys sync with certain accounts in QuickBooks, that they want it in a way that the actual user can't go in and mess around with the link. How was that explained to me now? So, right. So I'm just thinking, I'm signing on a new client. Are we still opening their QuickBooks account for them, or would you envisage you opening that QuickBooks account for them?
I would envisage us opening it. Now, that's a very good question. I might check. There's a couple of things here. The one you're opening on is the UK version, all right? So I'm going to show you some kind of confidential stuff to us here. All right. So I'm in the Irish version here at the moment. That's another accountancy firm that I'm training up in Donegal.
Okay.
So that's got nothing to do with me. I'm not going to show you any of their info, any of these guys.
Okay.
Now, I'm just going to go into the UK one for a minute. Okay. Okay, so there's me, Kevin Barry and Co. UK one. There's me, Barry Accountants, Irish version. This 21st century is one I do a webinar sometimes for the QuickBooks guys, and I just set that up for the accountancy. So ignore that. And this is my bookkeeper pal actually. He set up, and I'm trying to give him a hand, so that's that. But you see all these guys here now. There's you. Okay.
Yep.
These are people who are already on QuickBooks and have their own deal set up with QuickBooks. All right. Now, that's fine for me. You know, we deal with all those. And if I click into any of these, I'll click into my UK version there a second. Just remember Millhouse, and you're on the UK one. So this will come up here. This is right. I'll just click the dashboard. And this is a technicality. Now, if I scroll down here, all these guys, all right, there's my UK ones. Now we've moved 17 of them over to the Irish version today, actually. Okay, and timed it. But Millhouse isn't there. See that?
Okay.
And it's outside. Now, this is relevant to your setup. Now, the thing is, when I go to I click on clients here, it tells me who's behind in a flash by scrolling down. Not a lot there behind, only one guy. Okay. Now, when you're setting up at the moment, I've got to come out with all these vet guys. If they come our way,
yeah,
I've got to come out like this. So I'll pick on you for a minute. Where are you there? Millhouse. Click in. Wait. Think about it. It's a little bit kind of around the back of the house type stuff.
I get you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because we log into all our clients similarly. Okay, so we go up here to the top bar where Millhouse Veterinary is there, and we you
go straight in.
So we can flick down through more.
Now, in saying that, me and you. For the setup, you guys could technically set it up. So now a couple of big moves here. You have to move to the Irish version. You definitely need to put them on that, no question.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a big shift with your programmer. And I might as well answer the question now. The reason is the VAT is set up for Ireland, and the VAT on the UK version, which you have there and I have, now I'm aware of it, there's a big problem with it. It doesn't work right. And like I got fired from a client one time over the VAT. It wasn't actually my fault. It was to do with the suppliers and that. But what brought the taxman out was the VAT was reported wrong. So
I know. Thanks.
Yeah. So the first big move you've got to do is you need to say, right, from here on forward, when we set up a QuickBooks, it's going to be the Irish version.
Yeah.
Now with your UK people, if there are 20 and 21 transactions on there, we can convert them over. Or and you might be able to too, actually, but it's just know where to check afterwards. That's the difficulty.
No. So that's something that we delegate. The
conversion is easy enough. It's have they done it right? And like one of my top clients, they didn't do it right. So we kind of go back, and we missed it. We missed the thing at the time. But Jesus, and so we fixed it anyway. But so anyway, we didn't miss any since anyway. So
moving
that's
to
the first thing. And then the second thing, which is what your man is on about, and this will probably work fine, is there's you now, right? And you're the primary admin. This is what your program's on about. So that means they can keep it on. You're paying for their QuickBooks, and you can kind of control who goes on to it. You're the main controller.
Yeah.
But also you're within that scroll down thing.
Yeah.
So the initial setup could still be by your guys, okay? And then maybe you could move that to me from my side. Okay, and that's easy enough. So you would add me as an admin. You see here, I've done a couple of things. I've added myself here as the accountant as well. I'll tell you why. I thought I accepted it, but it doesn't say so there. And this is kind of an experimental email address we got caught using. I have to change that to more dedicated one at some stage because it doesn't mean anything to anyone. And
Okay.
but that is me. And so I myself on there in 3 places. Okay, but this is the one that allows me kind of look at them on a dashboard at a flash.
Yeah,
And
I'm just trying to think. Do we actually need to or not? Did you get me? See, it might be more important to you to have that access rather than us, but I'll have to run that past the programmer guys.
yeah, you can. But in saying that, though, me and you can swap this over anytime. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I need it on, like you might need it for the initial setup. So you actually set up, say it's Millhouse Veterinary for somebody else. You put in their name, their tax number, their phone number, and their email. Okay. You invite me to it. Okay. I'll do the setup, and then I'll say I need that admin over to me now, because I'm about to train them next week, and we want to keep an eye on them. So.
Off the top of my head, I think, yeah, I can't see a reason why you wouldn't be primary admin. In reality, the reason why we're going in there at the moment is trying to provide customer support, which in essence, we're hoping that you will do going forward. So, yeah, okay, no, I can't see an issue with that, but let me run it past the programmers. Okay, primary.
Yeah, do run it by them. I'll just give you another example. Was Tech. Now these are the lads in Mead. And I'm doing for them what you are asking me to do for you, okay?
Okay.
Perfect example, and they're on the Irish one here. And so it was getting the admin off your man that was causing real trouble, and I'm gonna make sure he regrets it. There they are now. Dry Tech waterproofing. I've them right in my eye line now. So before this, they were kind of out in the cold a bit. Now we still keep an eye on them, but they're just not as in the forefront as much. It's a danger for us, you know. So these are little technicalities that in time they might iron out, because Paddy Carr's ahead of Dublin. This guy called Krish Hadamandar is the developer out in India, and then the head of Quickbooks Ireland is Andrew Glenn. He's an Australian guy, and the marketing guy is Victor Johnson over in America. And so it's only really 4 people when we need anything done. Once they kind of understand what has to be done, it does go on a list and it does get done. So it might be a case that we can have 2 primary bins at some stage, you know. Yeah, long term it's not that essential for you, but short term I think it would be, because you know, you're integrating with your thing there.
Excellent. So if you go back to your price list maybe again, so, or sorry, had you more to go through there, or?
Sometimes I forget where I am.
Yeah, we were pricing it up and we were discussing who's the primary, sorry, yeah, we were pricing it up based on the, whether I needed Dext or not. Yeah, cool, here.
Yeah.
So
for you, I might ask them, could I move your Dext subscription under me? Now, I'm gonna show you my Dext, right? And this is so you know what we're doing. Because if we look after you for a month or so or whatever you want, if you're happy, you'll better experience what's going on. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And
you know, perhaps something we're doing that is annoying too, you know. And but I have lots of clients who they all evolve, and I'll show you how we evolve. So here's welcome James Daly. Well, I must have gone into yours today. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'll just log out there a minute. I did. I'm still as you. Yeah. So this is my Dext now. Coming up. Just see what it's about. Okay, so I'll just register for that quickly. Sorry. So just these guys to have good little your own company name.
Company name.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got it selected up.
Mobile, is it? I think they're looking for, yeah.
Mobile, yeah.
No,
exactly that.
They don't want you to attend.
They don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'll just check on these guys for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'll just get rid of one of these. Oh yeah, thanks. So, yeah, so just I'm just recording this so you can look at it again maybe when you're having a cup of
perfect.
tea.
Yeah.
And so here's an example of what we do. So we've all our clients here, but we star the ones that are busy, you know. So I'll just move it down. So you'll see, you might be that familiar with this, but so we can see when they're on our Dext. So you would be here then. Two things: what costs are coming. So I'll pick on this guy, Harris Subsea. He's an offshore diver guy, and if they're kind of brown like that, there's something wrong. So I'll pick on this one. So there's a bill he would have photographed over there in France. Okay, and it comes in here, and it's French anyway, so there won't be any VAT being claimed. So that's what goes on there. And let's go back one little line. Just go back to here. So when you have them photographed like that, if you lose the bill, it doesn't matter. We shred our bills every day. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing to communicate before I would get there to your clients. And then there's sales. There's a sales one as well. So if they're handwriting sales bills, okay. I'm just going to click on this one. This is probably something to do with a bank or something. It's a solicitor. Yeah. So this is money that's coming from a sales bill. So they photographed that one. And down here in the user, and you have this on your phone. Have you the app on your phone for Dext?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, there's two email addresses. There's one for forwarding your purchase bills to.
Mm-hmm.
So someone emails you a bill, you forward it to a place, and it'll come into the cost element here. Now we haven't started pushing the sales one yet because we prefer people to do their sales invoice on QuickBooks, and it's done.
Yeah, that's all of our sales will be through QuickBooks. So yeah.
Yeah, but you might find the odd guy handwrites a sales bill, and he'll photograph it. But if he does know, if for some reason they want to photograph them and forward them in, we've one or two who do it. There's a sales area. But what we do anyway, once they're photographing the stuff or forwarding the emails or downloading it from Fetch, it's coming in here, and I'll pick up a bigger one, this lady, and the support we do, we program it all the time. So there's IKEA, okay, that's using the combine function there, and we just see is there any rules for them. It mightn't be because it could be anything. So that's a new one. So, but we would go in here and program it to say when you see something. So it's going for office expenses.
Yeah.
This lady now has got really good at the learning. So there's 3 standard rates that come up. This is relevant to the Irish version now and not the UK. Standard would be the 21% rate.
Yeah.
In the QuickBooks. And then when it went to 23, it didn't change quick enough to 23. So on QuickBooks, you would say whatever you bought, pick standard. And what it was meant to do is change automatically to 21% or 23%, depending on the date. It was to follow the date. But they didn't put that in place quick enough. And I had to put a big, Jesus, I had to raise a huge stink about this. And anyway, they got it set up 3 weeks later. So it took them 3 weeks to get that fixed. And then I had to go back to Dext because it wasn't reading it right. So if it's after March 21, when it went back to 23%, that's what we click there.
Okay.
And every other bill now to do with IKEA, it'll put it into office expenses, IKEA. You always make sure that's a bill. And that's all that's relevant to that one now. So every other IKEA bill will come into this.
Yeah, it'll go in there. Yeah. Excellent.
And the second thing we do is then if there's different VAT rates or different types of stuff on these bills, we go down here. So with your vet, they might have bought 2 or 3 different VAT rate things. And we divide it up between the different VAT rates down here to make sure it coordinates there. So that's all done in the support. Now, that might be more information than they need to know. But effectively, we're making sure that the bills are analyzed properly. That's what we're doing. Okay.
So would a lot of these match automatically for you, Kevin, and you wouldn't have to look at them, or do you look at every bill?
We glance at every bill at the start. At the start, see, the program has to learn completely new. So if there's 2 vets, the first vet is all programmed up. When the second vet comes on, it's never seen any of the bills before, even though it might be a common enough purchase, you know. So we have to program them all each individual time. But yeah, if it's the same item goes to the same place every time, there's an extra thing we can do. So Mr. Magic here. So I'm just looking down there. Yeah, Mr. Magic. If we're happy that I see there he's window cleaning. So if he's always going to be window cleaning, there's a box here we click called auto publish. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
So it'll put it all in the right place and put it straight into QuickBooks in a flash. You wouldn't even notice it on the phone. You photograph us in QuickBooks, but we do tend to hold them up for maybe a good few months just to make sure everything is working right and not let them up into QuickBooks too quick. But that's what goes on. So that's the bookkeeper we do behind the scenes. Yeah, we keep a track. Now this lady likes us to keep away from her Dext because they have some other way of pricing things in there, and they kind of make it up as they go along in some way, she said. So we keep away from her a bit.
Okay.
But she started off with the training, and then anytime she calls in, she's really good questions. We record it, give it back to her, and fix it. And we 5 levels of client, and we want them all to be up around the 1 or 2, just understand where the push is, say with your guys. So now we put it on the proposals. I don't think we'd be giving them this before. Well, we'll see. We might be giving them this, but just so you know where we want them to go, so you can understand it. But we want them all up at the grade 1 or grade 2, that they're online with QuickBooks and Dext, and good at keeping up to date. The difference between one and the other for us is if the bank isn't connected or there's no receipt bank, and it affects our pricing if we're doing something else. All right. Yeah. But we are always trying to move them up, that everything is smoothly going well. Like, we'll call them, eventually arrange a Zoom call, a refresher on the training, stuff like that.
Yeah. Just 2 seconds there, Kevin. Sorry.
Yeah.
Excellent. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm just really setting the picture, really, James. Yeah. But that's the deck. So I must find out if I'll ask the English guys. You're on the right version of Dext. That's the one thing that's amazing, because the crowd in Dublin have sold 400 Dext subscriptions, but it's a really low level. Like the accountant up in Donegal is on it, and
I didn't look for a particularly high level. I just I didn't go for the lowest one. I think I went for the next step up. But yeah, I didn't intentionally try and get a good one.
Well, yeah, I mean, you might be underusing it, but it'll ramp up quick enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how it goes. So
yeah, go back to your pricing there again. So I'm trying to get it straight in my own head. Okay, cool. So
what would suit you, will say, right, is I'm going to see if I can move your subscription over to us. All right.
Yeah, exactly. So take it that you'll be taking the QuickBooks subscriptions and the Dext subscriptions just for the moment, unless the programmers tell me otherwise.
Yeah. Now I'm probably not able to take. Oh, you're on the UK version. I could actually take on your. Well, you're on a QuickBooks accountant version there, I'd say. Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I won't be taking that because you need to look into your own clients.
Yes. But I'm a client of myself.
Yeah. Well, we'll see anyway if I can. But I can have a look in a minute.
Yeah.
You see Millhouse. Just remember how I do that. You actually, yeah, I'll look at that kind of quickly here. It might jump up at me. Remember where I'm looking here. So I know if I go into, it won't allow me look at billings and subscription on your one, but I'll go into my own one here. We need to move you to Ireland as well. You're a client of yourself. Okay.
So in other words, VetDrive is the accountant, and Millhouse is a client of that accountant.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
So as you say, we'd probably still keep VetDrive account, because then we'll still have all our clinics within it. But Millhouse could become you could become the admin of Millhouse, primary admin.
Primary admin. So I think the thing to do is us to get used to using yours, and then we'll look at bringing you over to Ireland if it's not going to upset anything.
Yeah,
that's the way to go. Not to jump over straight off.
Okay.
So if we were doing you, let me just see. You're actually the first one with this new approach we're taking. I just think it's the way people seem to be asking. Like this can evolve all the time, and there's no minimum contract or anything like that. You can say this ain't working out, and we'll just switch back to subscriptions to you and you work away yourself. So at the moment you're on Dext. But anyway, we say you come over to us, right? 51 to 100. QuickBooks will leave you where you are at the moment, all right? Until
Can
we
you
see.
Yeah. Okay, we'll price me first, and then we'll go back and price a new customer potentially. Okay.
Yeah, I'll price you first, right? And the support level will go within 3 days. You'll find that we're back to you really quick, all right? But there's no point paying with even the 5 days if you want to. But let's just say you want to go the low one. Start with the low one first. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
QuickBooks Online Setup, 2 offers. 30-day support will do you fine. By the time we're finished with setting you up, fixing you up, showing you what we've done, and that includes the training. Now, if we were just doing training on its own, which I get paid for very regularly, that's €250, okay? But that's included in the setup side of things with 30-day support. All right, so and that's probably all we need there. So you're 78 plus VAT a month ongoing. That will be starting on the 1st of August, because this would cover you for the first 30 days. Okay. And a bit further down. So I know you've QuickBooks set up, but our fix up would include anyway, there's things to be done there with the integration, with Dext, with connecting the banks, with all that, you know. So that's where you are. And on the fix up then, on the once-off stuff, we do have discounts, or one way that makes it a bit dearer. You can pay us over 11 months, we add on 8%, and it'll fill in that figure when I send it to you.
To make it cheaper?
And to make it cheaper, there's 2. You can wait till we get the setup done and pay us in 10 days, and 4% will come off, which is about 27. And it's about 30 quid actually. Or you pay before we start at all, and double that comes off, which is about 60 quid off the total.
Okay, so you pay in advance, and you get 6% off.
Yeah, which I think is 60 quid. Or not? Yeah, it is. It's 59, but we round up to 60.
Yep.
Cool. So, but when I email this to you, you e-sign it, you e-approve, and you put in your IBAN. Okay. And actually, I'll do it really quick so you get a feel for it. All right.
Yep.
I'm just looking at my time there. Actually, I've just got to collect my daughter soon, so I won't do this part yet because I've got to do.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I'll send this to you this afternoon, and you'll see how it works.
Yeah.
And what you'll get a little video on it. It'll be this email. It'll say, "Hi James, hope you're well. Please find attached your proposal and draft copy of your letter of engagement. It outlines everything we discussed and what the total monthly or once-off fees will be. For convenience, I also explain it on this 1-minute video, and you'll experience that. Okay. And I'm available to run through it with you. So, and then it says what happens next. So you look at the video, I'll show you the numbers again. You click approval, you e-sign the engagement letter, which are both attached to the email, and then it'll bring you to this go cardless thing where you put in your company IBAN, and that you still control your bank account. We don't see your IBAN, but allows us to set up a direct debit. And then I'll come back to you, to say which of the payment plans you want to go with. Okay.
What time are you clocking off? So, sorry, what time do you have to go? I'm conscious of time. I suppose I don't want to be delaying you. What time are you?
Yeah, I'm kind of ready to go anytime now.
Okay.
Unless you want to take a 30-minute break, and I'll finish off in 30 minutes. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Yeah.
Do you want to do that? Because a few smaller questions, and I don't want you to be late for your daughter. Once they experience our program for a while, there will be optional add-ons that are again mutually beneficial to us and them. They don't have to use them if they don't want to, but they'll make them extra money if they do. And that's kind of where we're hoping to make a few bob. So €150 for the first vet. I'll give you the breakdown where we come up with that figure. Our cloud storage. I was going to ask you this. This is one of my questions. So QuickBooks at the moment is costing us €17 per clinic per month. It's pounds really, whatever that's conversion. Is that roughly kind of what you're paying, or are we paying above or below the average?
You're paying the average there. Now that's the UK version, so I'm a little bit out of. It's easy check anyway. Yeah, I'm a little bit out of sync, but it's about €30 a month plus that for the Irish version. but we get it for about €7 a month, and we rebill it out at 14.
Cool.
So we just have that. Now they've always got a couple of deals, the Quickbooks crowd, and these are them. First month free, and then you pay your 30 quid, or half price for 6 months, and then you pay your 30 quid.
Yeah.
So most seem to go for the first month free, but with the likes of us, it's the cost of program has never been that big a factor. We do just sell it on its own now. But I will say this is our experience. If I have to talk, and I'm not sure how you'll get around this one. Yeah, as you say, try and get guys to appreciate. We never try and talk anyone into it anymore, because from bitter experience, we found that when we talk them into it, it never works. They're not committed. It's only when they do what you did, they ask us about it, they've heard about it, they've known some. But if there's any little push our way at all, then they love it from there on.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
So I've caught myself in a few conversations and I've found myself talking you into this. So I'm definitely not going to put you on it now. I need you to decide yourself if you want to give it a go.
100%.
So
the Dext then, Kevin, what's that cost? I don't have a cost per month on that. What's that actually coming in at?
Well, I'm actually paying about €700 a month for that. Okay, and that gives me unlimited clients and this type of thing. But before I did that, it depends how much you put into it. Remember, I said it's an average, and it was always around 40 or 50 a month anyway. Would be the average price for a business. Like when you go on, like if you like you using it, you're probably on less than that because you're not putting much through it. But a normal business, but I looked at your purchase bills there, and you're between 50 and 100 a month. And for the top level of Dext, like on their website, it doesn't seem to give any pricing anymore. But what they do is it's average billing. So, but it's certainly in the. I'll just see if I can have a look there. Now we can give you a price. We base it on what we're doing out. We find people go off and it's hard for Dext to give a price until they know how much has gone through it beyond the numbers. I'm just looking at their website here. Business owners. Pricing plans. Yeah, here's it. I've looked this down a long time. So 1 to 50 business, 50 monthly scale is €10 a month billed annually. So that's 120 a year. That's the lowest level one. Someone like you would be on the business plus. That's billed annually though, €20 a month. Okay, and that gets you on the. Oh yeah, because there's a monthly version here. Oh, sorry, 25 a month. 12.50 a month plus VAT and 25 a month plus VAT will be the two lowest ones. And a really big place, which I don't have, would be 50 a month. Okay,
yep.
And so that's if they want to just buy the program themselves.
So if we say around, so 25 quid a month would probably be a kind of a ballpark figure.
25 quid a month, and let me just see. It's the first time I've looked at that in a long time now, so let's see how my pricing compares. I know it's going to compare favorably, but just wondering am I doing myself? So let's see what that was. We're paying 700 a month for unlimited clients. So that's we just break it down.
It's very handy for you, though, isn't it? As in, obviously, it's a huge incentive to just increase the numbers.
Oh, it's great, and it takes a bit of work. So we're 29 a month there, actually, I see, and that includes the programming. Yeah. So oh no, it's great. It's anyone who goes onto it never comes off it. It's just yeah. We've loads of people on it.
Right. Let me see. I'm just trying to go through all the scenarios in my head, okay? And I'm just trying to make sure
I was thinking about this on the way in for you. You see, you've got to the more moving parts there is in your cell, you're probably closer. You might have to adjust your monthly there. You need to have a think about it. You may find yourself having to pay us directly and adjust your monthly accordingly. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Probably the thing to do is me to check the setup and see do they need it and why. That's probably the thing. Just I'll drive it in. So if I'm a vet, I'm pretty good in QuickBooks, so my bookkeeper's pretty good. Do they need a whole lot, you know? So that mightn't come into it. And if they do, see, if you're throwing, you know, unexpected costs in front of them, I'll have no problem getting them to like it, but it's to get them over the line that they're trying it. That's the issue you have.
Yeah, so I suppose that was my I suppose my thoughts were, I say, yes, firstly who they pay, now secondly then was, see, I've no problem with the person like myself who's happy to pay the upfront cost because they see the value in that. Now, we'll chat about the upfront cost in a minute. Then the monthly cost, I think even if they don't think they want it at the start, they will want it once they realize that, okay, this is saving me money. But the person who doesn't want, you know, the way you worked out 95 quid for me, but that's actually you doing some help, as in you're helping me along with that Dext there, as in you're checking every month and stuff for me. I'm just conscious of the person. So say, for example, my client doesn't want that help. They just want QuickBooks and they want Dext. And they don't want, they're telling us now they don't want any input from us.
Right.
In the future, but that's what they're telling us now. So they want really budget. Then what I was trying to work out is what would I end up, if they were paying you directly, then it's no skin off my nose because you can make an agreement. And if they do start to use you more, well, then you could say, you're listen, Barry, you're using me a lot more now, so the price is going up again. But if they're paying me to pay you, I suppose that's why I was inquiring about your kind of cost price on the QuickBooks Dext, just so that we don't get squeezed in the middle. What were your thoughts in relation to that?
Yeah, I was two things. I'm always thinking of the computer guys I use here, you know, who do my servers in the cloud. And you know, they're very strong. They're Ortus, they're from Leash, and they're in New York and stuff. And they have a sales guy there. And his team seems to work. So I'll give you a very short story. I was thinking of moving my server to the cloud, and I asked the existing guy I had, and he was ages coming back, and I knew he couldn't do it. So I ran into three at a conference in the hallway. There was three guys selling the same thing. So I went to ABC, okay, and the one I went with was say the A guy, and he said he showed me what was working on. He said, what you see here is actually in the cloud. It looks just like it's on the desktop. And he chatted away to me, say it's up there. We back it up 3 times. If it fails one day, we won't charge you for that month. We've ongoing support. But I'll come out to you inside the next 3 weeks. Look at what you have, okay, and come back to you with a proposal. All right, and that's what he did. So he went out, and I had 5 work with me. We'll say we bits of the server all over the place. He said, well, this we won't need this. You won't need this. He understood the different licenses. We license in every computer. He said 1 license up in the cloud is all you'll need. So you be saving on licenses, you be saving on electricity, you be saving on this and that. And so we ticked off a load of boxes. And 3 weeks later, he emailed me back the proposals. Said, you know, this is actually what some stuff I thought you needed, you don't. Other stuff you do need, here it is. And we went with him. That must be 7 or 8 years ago. And we've upgraded and added on and added email addresses and all that ever since. And there's never been a problem. So we've kind of done a bit like that ourselves now. Remember on that little timesheet thing, get the background info. So when we know what they want. So if they only wanted Dext or something, if they communicate to you, like we have a price just for that. And so if someone wants the bargain basement, everything, all right, like we have a price for that now, and we'll have that on our shop next week. And it'll because we get it at half price as a wholesaler anyway. Am I sharing there? Am I? No.
Not yet.
No, so it might be a matter of you having the questions in order to give the proposal. I don't know, did that interrupt your speed of delivery? But so on create proposal, we the thing there you might remember seeing it Dext only or something. Dext only subscription. Okay, so a really small guy who's just out of college, no support, and QuickBooks only. And we go for simple start, which is a real bargain basement. So that would be, and we don't give any support to that. Okay, That would be 25 for the two plus that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, so that, yeah, okay, so, right. That's my.
So, but they'll be setting themselves up on that now, to a degree. You know, we put them on it, but no training or anything. So.
Yeah. So no. So I suppose, say for example, take it for granted that everybody would go to training. Okay, the 600 quid thing, right? So in other words, you set them up, you show them how it's done, you link everything up. As in, I think that all of that is almost essential. But it's from that point on. If they say, no, listen, we're happy out now, we've a really good bookkeeper. If they say that to us and we say that to you, what will we have to pay you then just to keep the accounts alive?
To keep the accounts alive.
You get me, to keep their QuickBooks there and to keep their Dext there. It'll be this kind of a figure.
Oh yeah, be that figure, yeah, 25 plus that.
Yeah, 25 plus that per month. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect.
So,
that was one of my questions answered. What I was afraid of there was, say for example, if that figure was 60 euros, for example, and my first bet is 150 quid, we've budgeted somewhere between 35 and 40 euros to do our QuickBooks and our cloud storage. So if your fee was 65 quid, then do you get me? I'm being squeezed on that first bet, so I'd be in loss making territory. So that's fine. Okay, that's perfect. My next question then was, if we went with all of that, okay. Sorry, Kevin. How long do I have you for before you kick me off here? What's your next timeline?
Oh, I have a guy coming on at past. Actually, a seafarer guy. He's in the waiting room at the moment.
Oh, is he? Right. Okay. I'll fly through it. So.
Yeah, fly through it, and we can always reconvene. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. To add in reconciliation, so say for example, you're doing my Dext, you're making sure all my receipts go in properly, and my bank account is linked up. Just to do that, the reconciliation, then the next step in my QuickBooks.
Yeah. So okay. So we pick bank reconciliation monthly. Depends on how many things are going through it. Obviously, it's a time thing. You're probably like, it won't be by the month, you know, we keep an eye on it, but we'll say it's between 50 and 75 for you. Do it every month. Let's see what comes up at. Don't know the numbers here. 56 euros a month on that one.
For the bank reconciliation.
Yeah, for if there's an average between 50 and 75 a month going through.
Cool. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. Now you might say, what do I get out of that? That's what people ask. But there we're looking at all the money coming in, going out, checking to see what hasn't got a bill. If there's a DD for that looks like a lease or a loan, they'll say we need you to get the details of that lease or a loan, tell us about it, and then we put those details in as well. If there's money going off paying for stuff we don't recognize, we'll bring that up. But we generally have an account set up on your QuickBooks called Query, and it'll email you every week, what are these for? And in that will be one report, and there's money in or out, and we just don't know what it is. And you would just respond to that email when you get it, or your bookkeeper would, you know. So that's how that works.
So I respond to that email. Say, for example, I'm missing a few invoices or whatever. I reattach them. Then again, we'll say, or get them up on Dext. You finish off the reconciliation then, and you say, okay, James, great stuff. You're fully reconciled up to the end of June. So that's me ready then for my VAT return. Pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Fantastic. I think all that sounds excellent, and I'm conscious of time. So my questions, Kevin, would be for I'm going to have a think about this, and you might do the same. If I'm selling this in my head to my clients, okay, I know the value of this, and if you had told me it was probably twice the price of that, I still would see the value in it, okay. But you know yourself when you're selling it, and they don't know the value up front. So you did mention earlier, and the onboarding cost. You kind of mentioned kind of thinking out loud, would there be potential to drop the onboarding costs and maybe raise the monthly costs from your point of view? We'll say, like, could you have a think about that maybe? I don't think the onboarding cost is huge from your point of view. I think it's actually really good value. But from me selling it to my clients, it does push our overall onboarding costs a bit high. Had you thoughts on maybe how you would do that?
Well, how we get it over the line is if they're interested in your products, part of it, right? And so what we find is they're not paying their existing bookkeepers, or up, as one girl used to be up till 2 a.m. doing a VAT return every couple of months.
Yeah.
That's all gone now. Okay. You're freeing up your time. You're not under pressure. You're not running around with a huge sense of rising panic, looking for bills to claim VAT back on. Okay. So our experience is people they overpay their taxes because they're either losing bills and not claiming VAT on them, or it means that because the bill is missing, their profit is over inflation, they're paying higher income tax as well. So we don't consider ourselves a cost at all. We consider ourselves an investment. So if they want to reduce the taxes, free up their time, and bring down their bookkeeper and accountant costs, this is the way to go. And so the accountant used to be getting in, whatever way he used to get it in, he'll get it in a lot handier now. Okay, so you can say to the accountant, justify your fee. They can say that, I paid you $2,500 last year for doing my accounts, but they're in incredibly much better shape now. Like we have a percentage, we have a price for our clients, and depending on where they are in that 1 to 5 grading, the figures come down. And if they're online, there's a 50% reduction for doing the accounts, So there's no reason why they can't say that like I could say that to their accountant. Say, you're getting the P&L and balance sheet now, all done, everything is reconciled. It really just looks like a tax return and items you might know about from the past that need to come in here that I don't know about. So you might give us your quote for this year, and it doesn't need to come through me. I'll have no input into it. So that's where the big saving is, So
yeah, 100%. On the onboarding cost, though, say for example, for the average clinic who'll have a migration from an old accountancy package of €100 plus an onboarding cost of 600 quid, that figure, I suppose. Like,
well, let me help you on one thing. Now, one thing I forgot there. If someone's a one-person band, we actually don't charge for the setup. Okay. It's something like I did a headstone guy yesterday, and he kind of wanted to go QuickBooks and trick around with it himself. But I said there's a certain level of setup we've got to do. And where was I here? So where so when they're taking out, well, with us anyway, when they're taking out the subscription through us, right? And subscription only. If it's a one, where I'm just going to, see here where it says, I forgot you asked this, were you single or multi? Go with single for now. If they're any of these,
you might screen share there.
Oh, sorry, no, okay. It's around the same place we are anyway. Yeah, if it's just a one person on their own, right? You see here where it's, I'm the word one-man band somewhere. I just want to press this up here actually. Yes, oh yeah, one-man band. Yeah. So this was what everyone at the moment. This was the programming and the subscriptions and all this. But if they were one-man band, and we're still doing that. But where there's a QuickBooks set up, and we're now moving more into the support element. Okay, because some people, a lot of them just seem to have it, and they don't realize what we can do until it seems to be. I know we're experimenting, but I think that's the way to go. But if they're a one-man band setting up, like a guy driving a truck or something like that, or in your case, sorry, just a vet working out at the back of his car. Okay, we actually don't charge the 600 quid at all on those, and it's not like I'm making that up for this call either. We actually have that on our website. The reason is there isn't really that much for us to do for them, and even though we might be losing on the time, we kind of think that they might. Well, we're presuming down the road we'll get payroll or something like that. So you see here where it says use QuickBooks free for 30 days. This was our typical setup fees before. So see here, one worker, make it a bit bigger. Setup free.
Oh yeah.
All right. 2 to 5, set up 600. 6 to 10, set up 600. Okay, so
I suppose not to be that we're all on the same page. I suppose, Mike, for you to think about, and like if it's still 600, if it's still €100 plus 600 when you come back, that's absolutely fine. But I said I'd ask the question anyway. Like if we're going for, like, for me, perfect, sign me up. I'm all, so that'd be my first point. The next step from this meeting, if at all possible, would be for just to send me on the proposal. I'll sign it, get it back to you, and we'll get the ball rolling on my clinic. But then for food for thought, I suppose, would be if we're coming to you with, a lot of veterinary clinics with this, Could you ever think on the 600 plus the 100? That might be the only one that might be small blocker on my sale point. And if there was, if that's the number, that's the number. But if there is movement on that, you could let me know.
Yeah, I don't think about what might work for you. There won't really be much shifting on the 6 anyway. I might shift a bit on the 1, because the man doesn't charge me, but it's a bit more time consuming than I thought. So, like we're charging, people who aren't existing clients, because we just got to be more careful with them. We don't have the history. That's the thing, and getting it off their people. So
excellent. Have a think about it. And my very last question was, you mentioned there, on your that Go proposal thingy, that's just for accountants, or is that
just for accountants at the moment?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
See the way you said you can set up a direct debit with somebody through that.
Yeah.
Is that actually, because I went to the bank to set up direct debits and they made it sound like the most difficult thing of all time.
It is, yeah. No, this is what you need to get on to, James, right? This will pay for your time today now. GoCardless.com. Now, we are on that for years. Now, I did exactly what you did. Went to the bank, said years ago I got approved for a direct debit, right? And I just didn't have time to, this massive big box of stuff arrived 15 years ago. Anyway, the years passed, I come back to it. And I say I want to go back onto it. It's worse than looking for a mortgage, right? They kind of look to see, to give you access to people's accounts and all this. And I went through it, I got turned down. I said, what? I got approved for this before, never used it. And now you're turning me down. So the man went away and he kind of thought he'd get it over the line. And he said, oh, it's a credit reason, it was a crashy time and we're not supporting the self-employed. And but the reason he told me for the turn down, I said it was not, I appealed it. And the credit committee said, we didn't turn you down. That's what they said to me, the credit crowd in the bank. And I went back to him. And he said, the credit crowd told me they didn't turn me down at all. This guy's name was James as well, actually. I said, so was it you that turned me down, James? He said, oh God, no, and all this. So he went off again, all kind of worried. I was giving him a hard time. But in the middle of them, on QuickBooks, there was an app that you can join up, is this one, Go Cardless. Okay. And by clicking a link, basically I send a link to my clients. You'll see one later today now for yourself. Okay. And if it's as easy as this now, customers. So I'll just move you out the way there. Now it's automated on my Go proposal, but I'm going to email you a link here, right? I just want you to click the link.
Okay.
Okay. There's 3 ways of doing it. So I can hide that behind the click here. Okay. But it gives us DD access with 3 days notice to people. They can cancel it if they want. They rarely do. And it's a very secure English system, Go Cardless. And it's not that hard to set up now. You'll be set up in a week. So when that email comes in, just click on the click here words that come through to you.
Yeah. And so you work your direct debits through that?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
And with a standing order, if it misses, you have to wait a month for it to come in again.
Yeah.
Or if you want to alter it, go up or down, you have to have a whole new paperwork. But this thing, you just cancel the existing DD and set up the new amount. It's done in 30 seconds. Just click on that link I sent you there.
Excellent. I'm conscious of the time. I don't want to keep your next client waiting.
That's all right. It'll be okay for a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Click on that link and you'll see how user friendly it is.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Fantastic.
Okay. So when I send you the proposal, there's an ABC. Approve the proposal, e-sign engagement letter, enter your IBAN, and then we come back. So.
Perfect.
But that guy turned me down the bank. I was going to really, I knew he was going to turn it down again, so he did. At this stage, I was using Go proposal quite a while. And he comes back and says, oh, I did my best and you were turned down. I was going to wind him up, going to have him thrown out of the bank and that. And I couldn't stop laughing. I said, listen, it's the best thing ever. Because their software is so big, it would have cost me money on my server to add in extra memory.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this. It's real clunky. Bank of Ireland or AIB, real clunky software.
Yeah.
You've got to upload. And this was a hidden cost that I wasn't aware of. So, but this Go Cardless is just up in the cloud and it's just, it's a dream. It's a pure dream. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
he actually rang me back a year later wanting to know what it was, because obviously he turned down somebody else as well, and he wanted to recommend something. So, and it's cheap as well. The costs are for nothing, like 1%. So
brilliant. Yeah, no, excellent. And at least you're not chasing money, most importantly.
Most importantly.
Yeah, Kevin, that all sounds fantastic. Listen, it sounds exceptional. So yeah, we'll sign me up and we'll get me all set up, and then hopefully quite quickly then I'll be able to start offering it to my clients, and we'll kind of come up with some sort of an agreement in relation to that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about something. I mean, it would kind of suit me better to be piggybacked onto your monthly direct debit for the rest of my life. So I might do something on the setup there, you know. There could be an angle there.
Like, if there's a way to work it, like obviously I don't want you chasing my clients for payment. Like obviously it'd be simpler from your point of view. Exactly. If we're sending you one big direct debit every month as opposed to checking 50 people every month.
Yeah, it's easier for you that way as well. Yeah, and there's one bill that dealing with. Yeah, so I'll have a think about that. I'll send you the proposal. You'll see how we sign them up. Like, and we're open to improvement all the time, you know. So we've tried loads of things that haven't worked, and then the thing that does work, you'd never anticipate it. So what we find works now is when people ring up asking. Like, we got 5 inquiries, including you, I think, last Monday, and I think got no inquiries on Tuesday, and then like they seem to come in a rush. The ads run, but the main sales thing on my angle with your clients will be the time they save and the money they save. That's the big thing, and it's not that's going to make them feel better or anything like that, but they won't know themselves. And there's loads of genuine testimonials on my website, and they may know one of them. They're all genuine people. So what we don't mind doing is, if they want 3 names who are using the program already, well, you'll want one yourself and not through us. We'll find out where they live and we'll give them 3 somewhere in the vicinity. So, and that's generally, they won't believe me, but they'll believe other people, you know, and they won't believe you either. They'll believe someone else, like, you know. So
exactly.
So that's probably
human nature.
All right, I'll talk to this man, and I've recorded this. I'll send you the recording and that proposal later on. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Kevin, great chatting to you. I'll chat again next week. Okay. Thanks very much.
Yeah, that's sound. Thanks, James. See ya.
Thanks, Harry. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye now.